Cargo Dispatch 559. We're requesting drop-off clearance for delivery 13 Omega.
Affirmative. Deposit delivery in docking bay 1. Be advised, micrometeor storm approaching. Expedite your business. PPMC delivery 13 Omega. Warning. Contents hazardous.
Self-destruct sequence activated. Six, five, four, three, two, one.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Self-Destruct podcast. From what we wanted to do because it took more thought a bit to get everything. But we're here, and you missed out.
At a picnic
No, because we were also playing Descent. You know,
while
often-
eating.
Some of us.
That's it.
I might have to try this. But yeah, the Cajun Country, Descent Land 3, it was fantastic. There were, I think, remember,
There were 9 pilots poking in and out.
about as many children. Yeah, it was hosted at Jedi Luke's house, and he's got this one room where everyone's set up. Yeah, and I don't know what large TV, I guess. It was like a 40-plus inch thing that he plays on. It's insane that he can keep up with things. But yeah, Lothar and Dracona showed up. We had Mark 39-2. Zero was there for a couple days. Of course, Morphod, Lady Silver. Am I missing anyone? Other than, me and you? I think that's...
you had Mark, you had Jeds, you had Dracona, Lothar, you, B2AF. Zero was there for a few,
for like 2 days.
Few nights.
Yeah, that was it.
It's still really cool that he could get out there, Lady Silver and I, and that's all night. So that's a party. It's a bad party. It's a great party.
It was so much fun, and we had a I think it was on Saturday. We had a few tournaments. We had a tournament in Logic, one in Bluebird, and one in Wrath. And Mark 39-2 ended up winning all 3 of those. It was I think it was surprising to some, especially he won Wrath. But
there were no X in there.
Yeah, I mean,
Athena is only 4 homing missiles short of being an X4 level 2.
Yeah, but
I mean, you can play. Likely, if you're going to be playing Wrath, you're going to be playing against one of the people who likes Wrath X4, X5, that nonsense. So when you take it down to Wrath X1, you almost feel it.
And Breathe, he did. He took out Jedi Luke in that one. I believe he had to. No, he took Jedi Luke out in the semis, and I think he played you. That was where him and Dracona made the finals, and then the Logic
that was a
tournament.
2016 match, was it?
Yeah, if I recall, it was pretty close.
That was brutal.
And then, unfortunately, because I was as they were happening, and right before the Logic tournament finals, the internet went out. So I actually had to record it and play it as a vodcast on Twitch a bit later. But that was a 58-minute slogfest. There were 3 stretches in that game where Mark couldn't score a kill for over 10 minutes because Jedi Luke was employing suicide tactics. But in the end, he played it out. I think he won 22, was it 12? In a game that was as close as 1916 at one point.
That sounds about right. Of course, we have a huge number of matches to discuss due to the lengthy absence of the show, so keeping track of every little detail. I'm just trusting all these spreadsheets to do their magic.
Oh yeah, they are doing their magic, and boy, is it's a lot of magic. But there are a ton of games played there. A lot of people playing a large number of games that haven't been playing games, including myself, Lothar, Dracona, just names that haven't played a lot of games. There were a ton of good games there too. Lothar and B2AF had a surprisingly competitive series. I think Dracona got 2 wins over Jedi Luke in a row.
Lothar got a piece of me.
Oh yeah, that's right. Forgot about that. Yeah, they also play him again. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So definitely hope we can get something going. I think that was you, wasn't it?
Again, that all depends on what happens with
work and stuff. Yep.
Job prospect. Glimpse.
I'll get to a bit of that in a bit about the legacy of Descent. We'll talk about something after the news section, but Anything else you wanted to say about the land?
Well, there's quite a bit to say about the land.
Well, I mean, there's
The
a ton
food,
to say
the
about, yeah.
food and company was excellent. I especially enjoyed the playing a little bit of the card game Super Fight.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. I completely forgot about that.
For those who are unfamiliar, it's a card game where excellent for parties, excellent for anybody 12 years and older, especially if you're big into superheroes. But you have to select from your hand the best combination of cards of a character with attributes that would win in a fight against whoever else is playing at that moment. However, the trick is you also have to draw an additional attribute. You have no idea what it's going to be,
Could be positive, could be
and that
negative.
can, yep. So definitely something to check out. I'm pretty certain you can find plenty of Twitch streams on, or even YouTube clips of people playing it, just so you can get an idea of it, or even just check out Super Fight to take a look at some of the sample cards and kind of get the idea in your head. But definitely had a lot of fun with that, and I also enjoyed the lesson on absinthe. Yes, I was educated on the matter of the green goblin, the green elf, or whatever the heck it is. But marvelous liquor that was has a culture in Louisiana that I was completely unaware of. So, yeah, there was just a little bit of everything at this land. Excellent region. Memories, and but I don't know if I really care to deal with that July weather in Louisiana.
Yeah, it's like for me, I went back there after not being in Houston for almost 2 years, and I mean the weather there is comparable to Houston, and I don't miss it at all. It's pretty humid out. Just for air conditioning is all I gotta say.
I don't know if I'd drive there next time though.
Yeah, that was a heck of a drive for you, wasn't
Next
it?
time, I'm just gonna walk with Mark.
We're gonna walk with. That's a good idea.
I'm gonna walk with
You
Mark.
might have to drive to Iowa first, though. That's where he comes from.
I'll walk to Iowa.
Over in Yale, Iowa. Uh, of course, yeah, it was a great time. Again, thanks to Jedi Luke for hosting it again for second year in a row. Third in 4 years, I think.
Third.
He's
And it was 3 years.
not in a row though.
No, oh, in a row. Okay,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Because 2 years ago was the Colorado land, the 20th anniversary. That was a huge land too. But yeah, very awesome. Hope we get some. Hope we get some more soon. It's I really regret missing last year. I was glad I was able to make it this year. So
There's definitely need to grab demo archives from the land, some of the key games.
yeah, there's still I know that I think Borjarnen went to that iBroadcast and put up a whole bunch of interesting clips from some of them too. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
I'd be very interested in checking that work out.
he got the one where I almost hit some of Mark's mines and flew into a tunnel as Mark was saying, but watch out for those mines, and I ran right into him, and it was great. That's probably the best clip he made. It's pretty funny. So
All the broadcast games, but either way.
yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. But yeah, very cool. So, how about news that's not land? We actually have a bunch of games doing a lot of things. Of course, we talked about last week the Sublevel Zero Redux is out. Well, we have a couple games with some new updates. Overload has put out their sixth drop, version 0.6. They have a new challenge mode level called Blizzard. They thought the XP were a good idea, so they put them back in Overload. I'm not sure. I'm in agreement with that. If you're not familiar with an accelerator tunnel, that an attribute to it that moves you in a direction, like a conveyor belt. Like a wind tunnel, I think they were called in Descent 3.
Hey, you're speaking a foreign language to me. I mean,
Yeah,
Descent 3 isn't even really a video game.
Yeah, well, well, they added them in. We'll see how it goes. I actually haven't played it yet. I plan on streaming this tonight. So they have a new robot as well, the Reaver, a new missile. I've actually seen the Time Bomb, and basically you throw out this missile, and when it explodes, you get a few seconds of bullet time, so to speak, and you can just try to do it can get you out of a tight stuff like that. So definitely an interesting ability. I would wonder how that would. I would imagine they'd have to remove that for multiplayer if they add multiplayer in. How are you going to do Time Bomb where it slows down time for one person and not the other? It doesn't work. Or maybe down. But we'll have to see about that. They've added track IR support. They've improved the player explosion. It now breaks apart. Looks cool. And, of course, they always have dozens of little minor fixes in their builds. So definitely worth checking out if you have access to their early builds. And again, I'll be streaming it tonight. So definitely check that out. And then Descent Underground also is back. We haven't talked about these guys for months, and a lot of that is because they're working on the single-player campaign, but also they have now added a service on a site called brightlocker.com. And basically what this is it's basically a Kickstarter as the project is ongoing. So you can go there and support the game in various ways. You can download a demo there. It's basically like a new community for the game where the developers will interact. They're posting some stuff specifically to the Bright Locker community. If you back to the game, I don't remember at what level, I think it was the beta level or higher, you can get diamond status on brightlocker.com for Descent Underground. So definitely check that out. And there's also been something interesting going on. There's been Bright Locker sponsored streams that have started happening, and I have to tell you, this one I watched the other night, I think it was Thursday night, was it? I don't remember what night it was. It was either Thursday or Friday night. It was pretty entertaining. They got behind a streamer called, I believe, Burke Black, who's a partnered streamer on Twitch. We're talking like this guy has thousands of views at any given time. And it's kind of funny. His theme is he's a pirate, right? He's got like the pirate hat. He's got these like little hand cannons, and he gets all into the character when he plays. It's kind of fun. And so they had him basically play Descent Underground for a couple hours, and for lack of a better term, pimp out the Bright Locker website. It was actually it could have been really cringeworthy. But I actually thought it was a good time, and they did a good job. They picked a good streamer to do it, too. I've actually watched this guy before, and it got a lot of people in the game. I tell you, that was my first 12-player Descent Underground game that I played, and it plays similarly as it does with less players. I still have issues with the mouse control, but at least the netcode is better than it was. So hopefully they can get some momentum from this, or maybe keep doing this with other streamers that might be interested in the game, to get the word out. So yeah, and one of the other reasons they were doing this, they just launched another build. This is the Concord Build 3370, which now includes a demo. If you do not own the game, you can download the demo over at brightlocker.com, and the only restriction in the demo is the ship. You can only use the Wasp. It's the only ship you can use, but you have access to the rest of the game. So definitely, if you have not tried it out yet and you're not on a potato like some people, you can...
I'm pedaling as fast as I can.
Yes. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Definitely worth checking out if you can get to it. They also have Oceania servers now for Australian players, so worth checking out. And they also added a map for this. It's a player-sized map, which in translation, freaking huge. There's some keys in it that you can get to, that's some secret areas and stuff like that. I'm not sure if this is meant to be a multiplayer mission.
It's merely cheap and
it's just
is
cheap.
comparable in performance to something like a rock that I would dig out of the dirt.
Yep. And
I'm just bitter.
Just
like the skin of a potato.
Yeah. So I mean, this is basically all the new stuff that's been happening with Descent Underground. They kind of teased all this, all these happenings with Bright Locker to the Undergrounders prior to actually going live with it. So it's kind of interesting because the way that they were putting it almost made it feel like that they were maybe getting bought out, but that's not what was happening at all. It's just a partnership with Bright Locker. So they're still going on even without Pixley. So we'll see how they proceed. So very cool. So moving on, I do have nothing new marked here in the Rebirth Retro, but I do know that they're they have these nightly builds, and one of the latest things that they put in the nightly build, it's not out yet, but they're going to be adding if you have, you know how in Windows you can make the size of the font bigger. Like you can set it. Normally it's 100%, but you can make it like 125%. There's like options for it.
Zoom right in and
Well, Rebirth and Retro
lie to yourself that you don't need classes yet.
Yeah, pretty much. Rebirth and Retro don't work well with that, but they've added a fix into the next Rebirth patch to basically allow for you to do that and then not have it affect the game itself. So that should be in one of the next future builds. Should be pretty good. And then
I guess that's the difference between what level would you like to play at. I would like to play at Ada.
And then for the community news, the Descent Rangers are doing something a little insane. Next week they'll be playing Total Chaos.
That's not insane. That's respectable.
Well, it's like way of saying it's insane. All weapons, which means you're going to get cloaks, you're going to get megas, you're going to get everything that's associated with the Total Chaos mission set. That'll be Saturday, August 12th, 3 p.m. I'd say start drinking early.
You should have a real good buzz by the time you hit Bushwhacker's Paradise.
Yes. More fun, dude. Have as many people make it as I had hoped. I mean, we had a lot of people join in the season, but we had people with prior engagements that couldn't even make that day, including Mark and Cyrus, and we had to award Sirius a bye. So, but it worked out. We still had a pretty good tournament. The quarterfinals, Melvin taking out Lee 33-18. It was interesting because the first one was not all that far off. I mean, it was impressive how well he knows that level, and he just took Lee to the can with that one. I mean, he dominated that match. In the Lee with Jedi Luke and beating Melvin 30-13, and then was probably the most interesting match of the entire season. Sirius and Phyrix, they played in Knick-Knack, and it was blind for Phyrix. And Phyrix still managed, as a silver pilot versus a grind, points on Sirius. Which was, that in of itself was amazing, but I have to say that what happened next was the most anticlimactic thing I've ever seen on the observatory, because Sirius needed 16 to win. Phyrix, of course, needed to go all the way to 20. The second game ended 16-16. Phyrix played him point for point in Mind Tricks, and as soon as Sirius got that 16th point, it was over, and it's 16-16, and it's like, how do you close a multiplayer game in Descent at a tie game and not feel bad about it? But yeah, because Sirius won Knick-Knack, he did win that match 36-31. But yeah, I have to say Phyrix's performance in both of those games were not silver. I'll tell you that. It was nice to see. And then for the fourth consecutive time, we had a Jedi Luke Sirius final, with Jedi Luke taking care of business 35-22. They did play Athena X3 in the second game, which was it was a 20-18 result during the season. Sirius never got started in that game. I think Jedi held in single digits. Only needed 15, but still, it took a while for Sirius to get going, and by the time he did, it was already pretty much over. So, four-time champion Jedi Luke, will he be dethroned? We'll have to see, because Season 5 will be coming at you. We're actually going... I have the wrong dates on here, don't I? Let me fix these dates. So because September 2nd is a holiday weekend, we're going to skip that weekend, and we're going to have the first qualifier on September 9th. We'll be doing it at the normal time, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 Pacific. Qualifier will be on the 16th, Qualifier 3 on the 23rd, and, of course, the finals tournament. That will be the last Saturday of the month, September 30th. So, yeah, definitely come check that out. And then we have...
I may actually be in that one.
Yeah, hey. And then we have some wings to talk about.
I like wings.
Wings, yes.
Buffalo wings. But not really the city of Buffalo.
Yeah, I hate Buffalo. I live there.
I know, that's why I brought it up. Just for you. Fond memories.
All right.
Frolicking about and all of that vinegar-based sauce.
Um, I have some in the some waiting for me, so I might eat those later. Anyway,
How is
um,
it out on the West Coast? Do they even hold a candle?
no,
I didn't think so.
no, but I mean
Anyhow,
it's better than nothing.
I have,
You have been away.
I have been away. And folks, I know that you really like this part of the show, but I'm just gonna have to cut a few corners. So I'm only gonna report. Oh, well, what is it? The 570 matches.
What? How many of those were on land? Okay, we don't we have a page for that? I thought we had a page for the DCL that showed all the matches at the land.
Do we?
Oh, where was it? I know we did because Lothar had it up, and they
Well, you
said
go
that they're
digging a
gonna.
little bit,
I'll go find it.
and I'm going to go through the basic stats. Okay,
I'll
so
go find it.
since the middle of July to the 5th of August, there will be 7 matchups between Diamond and Gold. Um, excuse me, so some 99. There we go. Lots of action between, actually, just a lot of top-down action from Diamond. 97 wins over Gold, 71 over Silver, 20 over Bronze, and Diamond slugging it out. About 70, 80 something matches there. Silver and Bronze slugging out with 111 matches between them. And the bronze on bronze activity, 43 matches between them all. And silver, so we're getting good crossover matches per usual. We usually see stronger crossover matches, and then not quite as much activity within the ranks. But we had a few new pilots. We had a couple people really stirring up activity in the lower ranks on top of the land. So it's been an exciting few weeks. And yeah, no rhyme or reason to the going from the bottom of the ladder upward in terms of activity. There are going to be things that are stated out of order simply due to the mass of data. So bear with me. And let's start. We're going to say hello to a couple unrated pilots. We're going to say hello to Pygmy Rhino, who stopped in to play a single game against Leto in Audacity, just waving. Credit for playing. Nice to see you. Hope to see you stick around a little bit more often. Then we're going to say hello to Slurpee. Who would have thought that Slurpee actually would have gotten on the ladder? But he has.
Nice.
He's put in 11 games. He's undefeated against Bronze, including a couple of wins against Leto and Code. Close games in Tetrafusion against Code. And against Silver, he's in the middle of a promotion challenge, if I'm understanding correctly. Has picked up a very close win against Swarthy with 2 suicides, 2018 in Logic.
And that gave
And
him 4 points.
that's actually the pardon.
That gave him 4 points.
Upcoming. These get done within the by the end of the month, and those include matches against Firex in Mindtricks, B2AF in Flea, Lee in Roncley, very well respected. Very excited to have. I believe he mentioned that he uses a 2 joystick setup, but I can't quite remember.
Nice.
He has been using the T16000M Thrustmaster joystick with the Hall sensors that.
Is that who T16000M I see? I'll have to go chase him down whenever I see that.
Yep. So,
I've been trying to get my game with him, and I just can't ever find him when I'm not busy.
You've heard me talk about it on the show before, but it's a very excellent precision joystick that's used to a very good effect by some pilots in the community. It's a little bit big for my small Trump-sized hands, but we'll just stick with the 3D Pro for now. And also put in a number of matches against Jedi Luke. It's a couple old school pilots just going at it. So that's 11 games, undefeated against Bronze, good showing against Silver. A good start with a +4 to his promotion challenge. Welcome back, Slurpee. Glad to have you on the ladder. And so we'll move out of unranked and into Bronze and say hello to Apo. Apo has showed up and played a couple matches, both against Code. Waving as he goes by. Glad to have you back. Hope you get some more matches in. And then we go to Leto. Leto has played 84 matches in the last 3 weeks.
You say that like it's a lot.
80. Well, I'm just going down the list, man. I mean, this is all coming at me cold. He's got a 10 and
Spoiler
24
alert:
record
84
against
is not a
Bonds,
lot.
picking up a solid win over Pygmy Reno in Audacity 20-8, and against Bronze he has a number of close games. I'm seeing and playing for a lot of trophy matches. 21-19 against Code and Killbox for the Dogfight Trophy. 2018 against Code in Rai Tumen. 2016 against Code in I Don't Know. 2016 against Code in Hilbert. 2017 against Code in UGG for a trophy. 22-20 against Code in Bluebird for the Dogfight Trophy. And 2018 against Code in UGG again for the Fusion Trophy. And on top of that, he's picked up a domination 20-10 against fellow Bronze Pilot Code in Logic. Against Silver, he's had some success. A couple of threatening scores here: 16-20 against Lee with 2 suicides in Roy Tumen, and 15-20 against Skywarp in Crimson.
I have to say that
Pardon?
Crimson game, you normally see Leto do well in a lot of his specialty levels, but to have him do well in a core level, good to see.
Very happy to see the Leto has been one of the driving forces behind a lot of recent ladder activity, especially on the lower end, and we're very excited. We've been pretty top heavy for a while with activity, and to see the lower ranks put a lot of numbers up on the board is really exciting. 84 matches, 28 against silver, 34 against bronze, 14 against gold, 5 against diamond, and 3 against unrated. Excellent showing by Leto in the past 3 weeks. And we move on to Naleski, who's showed up to play 4 games, including a close victory of 2018 against Code, 2 suicides in Tetrafusion, and also an 18-20 threat against B2AF with 1 suicide in Hybrids of Steel. Is that a D2 map or is that actually D1?
It says it's D1 here.
It says it's D1. I don't quite remember Hybrids of Steel being D1. Maybe somebody out in the audience can correct me there. But either way, pleasant to see some established bronze pilots come back and play a little bit with the uptick in activity. So, and then we move on to who's this joker? 120 matches.
120 matches.
120 matches.
120 matches.
Who has time for 120 matches in
120
bronze?
matches. That's 40 per week.
The guy must be on like summer vacation or something.
Yeah.
Anyhow, that's Code. Exciting pilot just joined up in bronze with a record of 23-16 since he has joined. And having the audacity to play silver pilots 52 times, diamond 14, gold 11. Against unrated pilots, he's won that close game 21-19 against Naphtha in Tetrafusion, which he has made his home. And down the list on bronze is his mostly his matches with Leto, but let's rattle them right off. Lots of trophy matches competed for here. We got 2017 against Leto in Logic, 24-22 against Leto in Ono that's an overtime win for the Fusion Trophy. 2015 against Leto in Fuse, 21-19 overtime in purple for the Fusion Trophy again. 2015 against Leto in UGG for the Fusion Trophy again.
I want to point out that is a separate map. UGG DCL.
UGG DCL.
Yes, I don't know what the difference is. I imagine it's the spawn points.
All right, there's altered spawn points because some people don't like to play UGG the way that it was originally built. That's fine. I can respect that. Anyhow, 2017 Leto in purple again for the Fusion Trophy match. 2018 against Leto in Logic, 27-25 overtime Fusion Trophy match in purple. 2018. 2018 and 2016 against Leto in IS for Fusion Trophy matches. 21-19 against Leto in a DCL again Fusion Trophy match. It seems like that's all he's really playing for, or at least all that he's actually winning. 2017 against Leto in Logic, 23-21 overtime win for the Dogfight Trophy in Bluebird, and 20-17 against Scion in UGG that was not a trophy match, but that had to have been a battle there. 2017 against Scion.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, he's picked up a few dominations. That's 20-10 against Leto in UGG for the Fusion Trophy. 2010 against Apo with 3 suicides in Tetrafusion for the domination, and 20-9 against Raptor in Tetrafusion for the domination.
I get the feeling this guy likes Tetrafusion.
Yeah, just a little bit. And then against Silver, we got 19-21 against Pyrex for a threatening score, again in Tetrafusion. Against Gold, 15-20 against Gold Pilot Morphod in Tetrafusion for a threatening score. And against, that's probably not even worth mentioning, honestly. And so we'll move on to.
wait. No, that's important.
No, I don't think it's.
No. Let's talk about it.
You could talk about it. I'm not talking about it.
No, we need to talk about it because it makes Jedi mad.
Oh,
that's a good reason to talk about it.
Whatever.
Yes.
You could talk about it.
That's
I'm not.
Because I actually watched.
Rattled off all the guys' dominations and trophy wins. You can celebrate this.
I'm going to talk about this because I actually watched the second half of this game, and it was even for much of the second half up until the point I think the weight of what was happening got to Code, and he got off his game and he got like 1 kill towards the end. But I mean, you have to give props when somebody puts up 17 points on Jedi Luke as a bronze pilot.
In a blind level, in a fusion level,
yes.
In a disorientation.
I don't care. It's Jedi Luke.
I applaud Jedi Luke for stepping into hostile territory.
And you know what? Jedi Luke came back and tried again. He got 9, and then on his third attempt, he got 2. So Hal held him to 2. But on his fourth attempt, he held him to 10. So it's like he's pretty okay in here, I would say. I would say that was a fantastic game, and maybe he's learned a bit about pressure from that game, and in the future, hopefully he'll handle it a bit better.
Anyway, exciting pilot,
we'll be
lots of activity. Glad to have him on the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon?
We'll be talking more about pressure in the next pilot.
Can I play Dad? I'd say that there's not a person in this community who doesn't like Can I Play Dad. Excellent fellow. 44 games played.
I don't know. I don't like him.
The hell with you, buddy. 44 games played in the last 3 weeks. Undefeated against bronze. I believe he holds the current top bronze spot. But the way that he's doing it against bronze. I see 2 close wins here, 2016 against Leto in Raitumen and 2016 against Leto in Audacity. And then there's one game, this is the only game that's not highlighted under his bronze wins, 2013 against Leto in Salute. But then the rest are dominations against other bronze pilots. So that's 20-10 against Code and Forte, 20-8 against Leto and Lurk, 20-10 against Leto and Black Rose, 20-6 against Code and Crimson, 20-5 against Code and Logic, and 20-9 against Code in Mind Tricks. All domination. So if you can dominate the bronze field, which in this case is mostly just Leto and Code for the 2 active pilots at the time, it's understood. But how long is it going to be until you're starting to poke at Silver a bit? And let's take a look at his Silver record. I'm detecting a number of threatening scores here. 20-22 against Lee in Lurk, 15-20 against Skywarp in Salute, 15-20 against Ronkley with 3 suicides in Athena, 17-20 against Skywarp in Mind Tricks, 15-20 against B2AF with 3 suicides in Logic, 17-20 against Skywarp in Neptune, and 18-20 against Maestro in Lurk. All threatening scores, but wait, there's more. Can I Play has racked up 2 dark horses in this 3-week period, including a 20-18 win over Skywarp in Logic and a 23-21 overtime win against Rocket Fleet in Logic. And I believe that you have some comments for that.
Morphod, have you ever been?
I believe you have some comments for that.
Have you ever been down in a game 19-10?
Yes, I have.
Have you won that game?
Yes.
Which one? 19-10, not 13. 10.
Oh shoot! There was one that I pulled back from the grave. It was probably only 17-10 though. But yeah, I have reeled it in like that before.
At 19-10, which was code.
I have suicided in an attempt to win when I was down 19-10, and then the score wound up
Well, I
being
did too.
20-2.
I did too. I actually it was 19-10, and then I got a point, and then I got down to 18 shields. I'm like, no, you're not getting your first win against me like this. So I suicided, and then I proceeded to rattle off 10 in a row. And at that point, I was spaghetti and just blew it. I was that
You got
close.
spaghetti falling out of your pocket?
I had spaghetti falling out of every orifice, sir. It was disgusting. It was very disgusting.
And before I lose my appetite for spaghetti,
Can I Play Dad has gotten so much better. I remember beating this guy 20 to -1. He's come a long way. You deserve that win.
while it doesn't meet threshold for reporting, after going through all of that, another it's a appropriate benchmark for where you're at and where you're playing and what aspects of your game you're doing well is how well you do against the different tiers, because the numbers in the algorithm do a pretty good job of binning opponents pretty well unless they're very close to the line. But even then, you can still see attributes of one class of pilot versus another. So even though it doesn't reach threshold for threatening score, I'm still going to point out a 14 to 20 game against Morph in Salute. Can I Play is definitely maturing as a pilot. He's flying fast. He's flying confident. And it takes a lot more to rattle him. Rattling him is algorithmic. It is not. It's not necessary. Rinse, slather, repeat until it breaks. But the thing is, it's getting tougher and tougher each time as he's building up his tolerance to the tactics that test your patience. He's getting harder to. It's harder to get behind him. What he really needs to work on, from my experience, is that he needs to start using weapons in a different way. He needs to start thinking about how and why he's using one weapon over another in a particular fight. And he's already got some of those pieces in place. Other than that, really excited to see him doing well. He's put a lot of time into this game. He's had a lot of rivals that have been able to put the same energy, and to see the uptick in activity in bronze to demonstrate that you're in a bronze sparse environment. All you have are all of these silver matches that you're getting 14, you're getting 13 against, and then I'm really happy for Can I Play with that display in the last 3 weeks. So, okay, shall we move on to silver?
Sure.
Okay, we're going to say hello to Swarthy, who only feels like playing one match in the last 3 weeks. And that was the promotion match against Slurpee. A good showing against a skilled pilot, but still gave away 4 free points, so Slurpee is well on his way to being silver. We'll say hello to Entropy, who actually showed up to play 5 games. He's undefeated against bronze, and he played Code 5 times, including 3 dominations, 20-2 against Code in D Factor, 20-4 against Code in Commons, and 20 to -1 against Code in Mind Tricks. I think it's a little cruel there that he managed to motivate 2 lesser played levels, D Factor and Commons, out of him. But well, I guess a new guy needs to be picked on every once in a while, right?
That's Entropy coming down from the mountain.
Oh yeah, I do see that he actually managed to get the Tetrafusion game in there too. Bravo to Entropy for keeping the scores relatively consistent across the board. So then we're going to move on to the Toaster. Bronckley the Toaster has played 45
Don't play
matches.
on keyboard anymore.
You are always a toaster in my heart.
Your heart is
45
full of
games in the
hatred.
last 3 weeks, including a. Let's see here. I'm seeing. Here we are. Domination against Code, 20-5 against Bronze Pilot Code. 3 suicides in Junebug. That had to be gruesome. Junebug, one of Bronkley's favorite levels there, and there's not too many people who are terribly fond of it. If you do not like Junebug and you step into the level with some of the people who favor it, like Ron and I, you're going to feel like a Junebug smashed into your face down the highway riding a motorcycle. So Against Silver, a couple of close matches. Looks like 2 close wins over Lady Silver, 2018 against Lady Silver and Flea, and 20-17 against Lady Silver in Junebug. And in addition to that, we have some a very curious record here. I don't know if I want to talk about this.
I think you have something to say about one of these games at the very least.
Well, these are all from the LAN.
Yes.
And the effort here was to try to select a number of matches that were going to be more fun than devastating, and
more fun, more fun.
I guess. Oh God. But I also understand there was really good food and some very strong liquor involved in all of this. So yeah, threatening scores against Gold Pilot Morph, 19-21 with 1 suicide in Ascend X4. 18-20 against Morph with 5 suicides in Salute. We don't want to talk about that one. 15-21 against Morph with 1 suicide in Wrath X5. 20-22 overtime loss with 5 suicides in CY6. Anybody remember what CY6 is?
Anyone played CY6?
That's the DKH level made in the level pack we received toward the beginning of the year with Megas.
Mega missiles, yes.
Mega
Lots
missiles.
of mega
oh
missiles.
my God.
And the funny thing is because people and people homers.
Take 2 X4, no
No
proxies.
proxies.
Yes, that's right. I had discovered that a somewhat effective way of frustrating my opponent in these damned X4 levels is to just crap a whole bunch of prox mines everywhere.
Everywhere, including on inadvertently, mind you, including on spawn points.
So, I
It's
mean,
a little frustrating.
you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And yeah, that'll wrap it up for Ronkley. 45 matches, 17 games against Silver, 14 against Gold. Lots of close matches against a historic rival in a very, very fun circumstance. We were just really focused on having more fun than anything else. But you know, you're all welcome for really screwing up the ladder algorithm.
I don't think me and you could screw up the land algorithm. I think it knows to take any outliers seriously between us.
Well, yeah, but there's 5. So like we're both here. Yeah, we're gonna move on to Skyward. Has played in 14 games. Hasn't played too many matches against Silver. A couple games against Ernie. Yeah, have we figured out what we're calling him? Face Ernie. Or okay, it's Ernie.
That's right.
So played a couple matches against Ernie in the last few weeks. Matches against Bronze though, and a few competitive ones against Leto and Can I Play Dad. So happy to see Skyward putting in some games. Hadn't seen him putting in too much action lately. Glad to see him around. And then we'll move on to Lady Silver putting in 40 games in the last few weeks. That's 5 games against Bronze, 12 games against Silver, 11 against Gold, 12 against Gold, 11 against Diamond. One of these is a domination, 20-2 against Code in Logic. Wins and losses that are pretty consistent across the board in Silver. A couple wins against Ronkley on land. And against Gold, 2 threatening scores, 17-20 against Morph in Flea with 4 suicides, and 18-20 against Morph in the Lurk. That was a very curious game. It started off a little bit funny until I realized that I was on wireless and not currently jacked in. Restarted the match and plugged in the fiber appropriately and went back in, also muted myself. I looked at the demo from both sides. It was just a couple key mistakes from was the difference between 2018 and 20-12. It was a well-played game on her part, and I just want to assure people that there is no funny business there. That was a game that was restarted due to an odd connection that got fixed, and then I couldn't figure out the puzzle. I couldn't crack my opponent. So a well-earned
she does that sometimes.
Well-earned threatening score against Gold Pilot Morph. And then we move on to
Maestro.
I'm kind of upset with this guy.
Why? Himself. He's a nice guy.
he was getting rowdy with some kids, and I told him to go outside and take his business elsewhere, and he got mouthy.
Huh?
Well, anyway, Maestro, the pinnacle of teenage cynicism, um, played 58 games in the last few weeks, 6-15 in silver class, and undefeated against bronze. That's picking up a 2018 win over Slurpee in Salute in a close game. Slurpee, however, did not have Maestro down as a promotion challenge. Otherwise, that would have been a well-scoring game for him. And moving on into bronze class, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dominations, and that includes a 20-5 against Code and Salute domination, 20-4 against Leto and Octave Pro domination, 20-4 against Leto in Perplex 2 domination, 20-3 against Code in Logic domination, 20-3 against Code in Vamped with 3 suicides domination. I'm just trying to get you to change your minutes, all right? You and your imaginary friend Lee. Anyhow. And speaking of Lee, a couple close matches there in silver. 2016 against Lee in Lurk. 23-21 overtime game against Lee in Conquest. 2018 against Lee in Swiss Cheese Sorrow. That's probably where you lost your pills, buddy. 2016 against Lee in Nocturnal. And 24-22 against Lee overtime game in Blackout, which is what happens when you mix your anxiety medication with alcohol, Maestro.
I have to say, Lee and Maestro have a very special relationship right now.
Indeed. And so with that, we're going to go speak to Maestro's imaginary friend Lee. 32 games played, pretty good for somebody who doesn't exist. 11-9 against Silver. Domination against Code there. 20-5 in Mind Tricks for a domination over a Bronze Pilot. And in Silver, lots of close games. 2018 Maestro Neptune, 2015 Maestro Fuse, 21-19 overtime Maestro in Ascend, 2015 Maestro Killbox No Missiles, 2018 Maestro in EO, 2017 you played in EO. You might not be such a bad fellow after all, Maestro. 2017 against Maestro in Forte, 22-20 overtime win over Maestro in D-Box. And 2017 Maestro in Salute with a couple dominations, 20-10 against Maestro in Synapse domination, and 20-9 against Maestro in Flea domination. On top of that, a threatening score by Lee against Gold Pilot Maniac, 16-20 in Synapse. And that'll do it for Lee. We move on to B2AF. 84 games played in the last few weeks. In class, he's 95 against Silver Pilots. A number of dominations here. Let's see here. 24 against Code and Take 2. 20-2 against Code and I don't know. 20-1 against Code and UG. 20-3 against Code and Rip. 20-4 against Code and Mindtricks. 20-4 against Code in Code Red. I feel like that was trying to trick me. 20-5 against Code in Control. 25 against Raptor in Nocturnal. Descent 2 Nocturnal. 25 against Code in Descent 2, Descent 2. 21 against Code in Forte, and 23 against Code in Is Domination. I'm saving up my dominations here, and you all know why.
Yeah.
We put it at the end of the show so you can stop the stream, so you don't have to listen to them go on about it. Anyway, against Silver Pilots, B2F has had a couple close games, 21-19 against Hyper overtime in Logic, 2017 against Lady Silver in Flea, 2016 Lady Silver 3 suicides in Flea, and 2018 against Hyper in Mind Tricks, and a domination, 20-10 against Ronkley in Black Rose. But wait, there's more. Against Gold Pilots, threatening scores, 18-20 against Zero in Logic, 18-20 against Bahamut in Logic, 19-21 against Morph with 5 suicides in Fused, 15-20 against Morph with 3 suicides in Lurk, 15-20 against Morph in Rip, 15-20 against Morph in Crimson, 16-20 against Zero in Crimson, and 2 Dark Horses, 20-14 against Morph 2 suicides in Fused, and 20-18 against Morph 6 suicides in Audacity. Sorry, I'm just catching my breath there. I'm speaking a lot
Okay.
here.
All right.
All right. So anyway, those matches, there's a string there played against B2AF on LAN, and that was after Zero had thoroughly shattered my mind. I was foaming at the mouth, 20-8. People were honestly concerned about me holding a knife. And I said, well, okay, well, I'm going to take this out on a silver pilot. And I didn't think you were in the mood for it. And I certainly wasn't going to do that to Ruth because she was sitting next to me. And Lothar was occupied at the moment, so that left B2AF. So I went up to B2AF and like, we're going to play. And what does he do? Son of a gun goes up and beats me by 6 infused. And I'm just like,
Ugh.
so I challenged him to an immediate rematch, and I suicide my way back to victory because I was about to lose it again. That was a come from behind. And then Audacity was another 6 suicides to do the same thing. And then finally in Lurk, I felt like I was getting my grips and getting back on top of things again with some misdirection. But I had really forgotten, my identity as a pilot, and it was really affecting me. I was trying to beat people on mechanics when their mechanics are much better than mine.
Wait, you threw a knife?
No,
Jedi says you threw a knife.
I didn't throw a knife. You would have kicked me out of your house. There were children running around. Oh my word! And other than that, B2AF, a brave showing of 21 games against Diamond Pilots. A lot of those on land. So excellent showing there. And
I think the most entertaining of those games on LAN was when Mark told him to host something.
Oh yes,
And
this is your story, Phil.
and so B2AF is like, all right, he's thinks about something interesting that's off the beaten path he can play, and he posts up Wyndham 1.1, and Mark is like, what is this shit? And it's like, he's like, what, you don't like Wyndham? And everyone's like, you don't know he doesn't like Wyndham?
I question, but understand that I have seen B2AF's zombie mode in the morning.
Yes.
And if I had not met him in person, I would have called. I would have called him on. I would have said that he was lying. He was feigning ignorance. But after meeting him in person, I am legitimately convinced. I'm convinced that B2AF legitimately did not know that Mark hates Wyndham.
I think he didn't know. It was his reaction was just, it was genuine. Let's put it that way. And they played, and Mark beat him 20-4. So there you go.
Anyhow, I think we're going to move on. We're going to say hello to Lothar Bot, who was able to put in 31 matches, a lot of those at the LAN, and picking up a, let's see here. We'll start with the Dominations, 20-4 against Code in Mind Tricks, Domination against Bronze Pilot. Against Silver, picked up close wins, 21-19 overtime against B2AF and Lurk, 22-20 against B2AF and Logic, 20-18 against B2AF in Logic.
What a great series those two had. Great series between those two pilots.
And for Dominations, we got 20-10 against Ronkley and Three Sisters for the Disorientation Trophy. 28 against Lady Silver and Droids, 20-8 against Ronkley and Crimson, 20-10 against Ronkley and Audacity, 20-8 against Ronkley in Take 2, 20-8 against Lady Silver in Lurk, and 20-8 against Lady Silver in Forte, all Dominations against fellow Silver pilots. Lots of solid wins between that, 20-12s, 20-13s, 20-14s across the boards. But otherwise, that's a 17-0 undefeated against Silver by Lothar Bot. Against Gold, two threatening scores, 16-20 against Dracona in Junebug, and 17-20 against Morphod in Ascend, and a dark horse, 20-18 against Morph with two suicides in Logic. That one, I felt like it slipped right through my fingers. Went around the table and shook his hand and complimented him on a fine game played after that one, and it certainly was.
With a knife in your hand?
We move on. Pardon?
With a knife in your hand?
No,
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 okay.
that was
That was a
that was
different game.
just
That's
that
a
was
different
just a
game. Okay.
legitimate brawl. That was a riot. Um, then we'll say hello to P Funk, with who's put in 3 games, none against Silver, and nothing of note other than to say happy to see him playing. Wish he was around to play a little bit more. And we move on. We say hello to Hyper, who has put in 23 games in the last 3 weeks with a 4-4 record against Silver. And against Silver, he's got a close match 20-15 against Ernie in Vamped X2. And for dominations, he's picked up one against Lee 20-10 in Mega Fused. I'm sorry, I just had a bad thought there. Smudge on my monitor. I think that was just fused. 20-7 against.
It was Mega Fused.
But there's no such thing as Mega Fused, frankly. That would just be silly, stupid, and painful.
There is such thing as Mega Fused. It is silly, stupid, and painful.
Who would have made a Mega Fused? And more
Hold on,
importantly,
let me think. Lee.
Maestro's imaginary friend?
Yes.
See, this is why you need to be on the proper medication, Maestro. Okay, 20-7 against Lee in purple for a domination. Doesn't say that there was fighting for the trophy, the fusion trophy, but regardless, regard that as a fusion match. Against Gold Pilots, no wins, but lots of threatening scores against skilled pilots in very curious levels. 27-29 overtime loss to Vaniac in Yield.
Interesting.
15.
It's a long match.
That's a long match. Oh, well, by score, with the way that the two of them play, it probably didn't last longer than 25 minutes, even at that score. 15 to 20.
I don't even know the level. Yield.
15, yeah, Yield. 15-20 against Zero in Flea. 16-20, 17-20, and 18-20, all against Zero in purple.
Fusion bitches.
Fusion match against one of the premier fusion pilots to have those kind of competitive scores. I'm wondering if this is the same Hyper that I had an overtime fusion match against in UGG for the Fusion Trophy way back just before D20. Anyhow, excellent showing out of Hyper in the last 3 weeks. Hope to see more of those, especially those strong fusion scores against Zero. Not that I have anything against Zero, but I do. Then we move on to Ernie, playing 33 games. I believe he's in the middle of a promotion challenge, and in fact has played 2 matches. One of those was we'll just mention those when we get to the gold bouts. Against Bronze, he has a number of dominations because he's still classified as a silver pilot. 23 against Leto in Athena X2, 20-5 against Leto in UGG, 20-2 against Code in Mindtrix X2, 20-4 against Can I Play Dad in Athena X2, 20-4 against Raptor in Crimson X2, 20-1 against Code in Athena X2. And against Silver Pilots, he's got 2 close games, 2017 against Firex in Athena X2, 2015 against Maestro in Ascend X2. The guy seems to like his missiles. He also has a couple dominations against Silver Pilots, 20-6 against Skywarp in Athena X2, 20-8 against Ronkley in Crimson. All in all, a 6-1 record against Silver. Very solid playing. We move on to Gold, where he has picked up a 20-17 win over Bahamut in Athena X2 for a Dark Horse. And then for his 2 matches on his promotion challenge, he's played Soldier, who's actually showed up and played a little bit. A score of 16-20 with 3 suicides in Ascend X2, which gives him the +1. And then a disappointing performance, 10-20 against Morph in Crimson. His target was an overtime win, which I really question. But that's going to put him behind -7, would have put him behind -6, even with Soldier's target. So he's sitting right now at -6 overall, which means he's still in good control of it. Against Zero, Bahamut, and Vaniac on the list, which is that's an unpleasant gauntlet. Target for Zero is 14 in Mindtrix. Target for Bahamut is 15 in Undecided, and against Vaniac is 18 in Audacity.
I think out of those, if he's going to look up to pick up some points, it would be against Zero.
He'd be looking to pick up some points against Zero. Another good showing against Bahamut. Vaniac is going to be the hardest one to really pull off there, I think,
Yeah, I mean,
because the
Maniac has a
target
pretty
is
good
so
level
high.
too.
So, and he also making a mention here in chat. He's questioning whether he'll go ahead with the remainder of the challenge because he is actually going the route of B2AF.
Yep.
He is changing to a what is it, like a Steam controller, an Xbox controller, a modified one?
B2AF's using the Xbox Elite. I don't know if because Ernie's he pointed out what he was doing to me, and I've since closed.
Yeah,
it.
I know that he had it arrive in the mail a
Yes.
couple days ago, but a lot of excitement from him to get Xbox Elite to get into a controller that would be that felt consistent to him. We had
Same
Ernie and I had an interesting discussion about how like you can fiddle with your mouse settings, but it just feels like something if you don't know your equipment well enough, or just the eccentricities of all the inputs between controlling your mouse sensitivity, the DPI from the mouse, the sensitivity in Windows, the sensitivity settings that are available in Retro. Try to get the right feel out of the mouse. You can get a lot of noise in there, and sometimes it feels like you can leave it alone, walk away, come back, and after a reboot, where your mouse settings that felt so good. So getting on the controller, seeing what B2AF does with this stuff on LAN, it's really, really cool. And you have the precision of a thumb joystick, two analog joysticks right there for you to use, and the quick left-right action that can really abuse what the Pyro can do in game. So totally understand if Ernie wants to step back and focus on a new controller, because in the end that's going to make him more competitive. And the Gold Pilots will be waiting for when that challenge comes up in the future. So let's see here, and that'll wrap it up for Ernie. 33 matches. Happy to see the activity out of him. And we will move on to Firex. 14 matches against Bronze. He's picked up a domination 20-4 against Cody in Mindtrix. In Silver, he's been playing competitive matches. It looks as though it's he's got a record of 5-1. 2017 against Maestro, 2017 against Hyper, that's in Lurk and in Crimson, 2017 Maestro in Ascend, and 2015 against Maestro in Flee. And that brings us to Gold. Scary.
We're only on Gold? Oh, jeez.
Yeah, we're only on Gold, and the really scary part is, like, I'm just barely past halfway scrolling down this window. Oh, no. Anyway. Deimos has shown up and played 3 games, but he's only played against Diamond Pilots, so all we get to say is, hey, nice to see you playing. Hope that you have the time and the connection to play some of the other pilots. Glad to see you around. We'll wave at Soldier, who did participate in Ernie's promotion challenge to the tune of 2016 in Ascend X2. Happy to see him around. Wish we could see him more often. I believe it's work schedules that prevent him from putting in the same number of matches as others. And then we have Dracona, who's played 63 matches, a lot of those at LAN, against, let's see here, that's, let's just run right down the list here. We see in tier against Gold Pilots, lots of close matches against Zero and Morph, and picking up a close win, 20-16 against Morph in RIP. I believe that occurred, was that at the LAN?
Yes.
I care. Okay, but the real story here is the Diamond. Lots of planned games against Diamond Pilots, and if you want to take a crack, you're going to need every single edge that you can get. So down the very impressive list of threatening scorers against Diamond Pilots, mostly at the LAN, and that includes a 16-20 against Jedi Luke in Killbox, 18-20 against Jedi Luke in Logic X2, 16-20 against Mark 39-2 in Audacity. You know what? We only have 2 Diamond Pilots, so I'm just going to go right up and down the list to save myself a little bit of breath. Starting over, 16-20, this is all Jedi Luke. 16-20 in Killbox, 18-20 in Logic X2, 18-20 in Wrath X5, 19-21 in Mindtrix, 15-20 also in Mindtrix, 17-20 in Logic, and another 17-20 in Logic immediately afterward, though that one had 2 suicides. And 2022 in Logic X2, all against Jedi Luke, and the other Diamond pilots, 1620 in Audacity, 1520 in Junebug, 1520 in Mindtrix, 1620 in Wrath, 1820 in Bluebird, all against Mark 39 too. But wait, there's more.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what?
20 to 13 with 3 suicides in droids for the Dark Horse against Jedi Luke.
That sounds like that Jedi Luke should invoke the immediate rematch.
But wait, there's more.
He
20
invoked,
to 13 against Jedi Luke in droids.
that was the rematch, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, but that one had 5 suicides instead of 3.
So,
So
okay,
excellent
yeah.
showing, excellent showing by Dracona. Glad to see that level of activity, and more importantly, I see, like, for me personally, there's like a bit of a hump to get over yet, and I started getting over a little bit at the LAN about being competitive with the Diamond pilots, getting more than 15, getting those threatening scores. It seems like other pilots, Maniac, Zero, Bahamut, they don't have as much trouble as I do getting over that hump. But we'll see. To see that level of performance against 2 very different pilots is really exciting. And bravo for that showing from Dracona. My applause, my hats off. And we move on. We move on to say hello to Melvin, who's played 32 matches in the last 3 weeks. Against Gold, he only has 1 real notable performance, and that was a domination against fellow Gold pilot Morph, 20 to 9 in Flea with 4 suicides. Looks like a little bit of residual zero effect there, if you ask me. And against Diamond, he's actually got 3 scores of 15 to 20 against Jedi Luke in Ascend, Logic, and Mind Tricks. On top of that, Melvin also has completed, I believe, a demotion challenge recently.
I'd say with those scores against Jedi Luke there, why is he even getting a demotion challenge? What did he do?
Well, let's take a look here. I had an answer for that. It looks like he's just getting a little soft against matches in tier, and he's not punching bronze hard enough, bluntly. It's a crime as a Gold pilot to have fun against silver and bronze. You have to dominate them. But anyhow, we're looking at the demotion challenge. Melvin, that 20 to 9 domination over Morph had a target of 18, so that's an easy +7, even with the 4 suicides. The rematch was immediately invoked, and the score flipped around 15-20 with 13 suicides.
Oh dear.
Which is hilarious because he still gets a +1.
Yes, despite being 3 kills short of his target, because he gets 13 suicides, that gives him 4 points off the suicides alone.
One of those 15-20 games against Jedi Luke counted, with granting him a +5, and that set him at +13. He still had the opportunity to get booted out if he got 2 bad scores against Zero and Vaniac, and I would say it almost happened, except Zero's mark was so low. He had to get 13 on Zero and Athena. He got 9, so that was -4. And against Maniac in Ascend, needed to grab a score of 17. He only got 11 for a -6. So he finished out with a +3. Once again, Morphod choking, preventing Gold from taking out its own trash. Melvin stays Gold for the time being. So a good showing by Melvin. Happy to see the games after a brief retirement there with a message, lost the magic. I'd say he found a little bit of it. Would you agree?
A little bit.
Then we have the dumpster fire at 67 games in the last 3 weeks. Where to begin with this joker?
Probably in Silver.
I'm seeing a lot more close games against Silver than he should have. Very irritating pilots, B2AF, Ron Clee, Lady Silver. Oh yeah, here we go. 2 dominations against Silver. Some green in the mix here.
There are some dumpster fires on the other side.
20-5 against Roncliffe in Ascend, and 20-5 against Roncliffe in Wrath. I think those were both on land. Yeah, this is a nightmare. Oh my god, how's this guy gold? Anyway, in tier, it looks as though as if a record of 4-8 against other gold pilots. Close wins, 2015 against Melvin in Satan's Hellhole, 2015 against Melvin with 13 suicides in Flee, the previously mentioned demotion challenge, 21-19 against Dracona in Lurk, for I believe that was the top gold spot at the time. It was the last time those two played on land before they had to pack up, and a 2017 win over Dracona in Logic. In addition to that, 2 threatening scores against Mark 39-2, both at the land, 16-20 in Lurk and 17-20 in Flee. Other than that, yeah, it's this guy's a joke. There's no way to sugarcoat it. This guy's a dumpster fire. So if you want your cheap dark horse,
It's fine.
you know
Everything's
who to go
fine.
after.
It's fine.
All right.
Anyway.
Anyway,
Nothing's on fire. It's fine, guys.
and then we go on to Zero with 54 matches. Gold record of 12-2. Zero has picked up the very elusive domination against a bronze pilot. This is hard to do, people. 20-0 against Leto in Logic. No suicides.
Ooh, the natural. Very nice.
The natural. That's the most pure form of domination that you can get on this ladder. And props to Zero. That might, I don't like. I don't like putting stuff out there, like that. Like, oh, this guy couldn't even get a point. No, that's how very difficult it is to do that.
To be fair, we had a match worse than that. That was the 20 to negative 1 entropy with 1 suicide.
Well, that's why
worse than 20 to nothing with no suicides.
I still think that's once you introduce suicides into the mix, you alter the pure.
But the suicide was not on the winner's side.
True. So if anything, it would be more difficult because now you get you get to reset your shields. But either way, compliments on a very difficult achievement. Leto is a seasoned pilot, so that could not have been easy. I certainly wouldn't be able to do it. Against Silver, a few close matches, yes, but 2 dominations, 20-3 against Roncliffe in Flee and 20-5 against Lady Silver, also in Flee. And against Gold, quite a few close games, 21-19 and 23-21 overtime matches against Maniac in Ascend and Mindtricks. A 20-16 against Dracona in Mindtricks, a 20-16 against Morph in Audacity, and a 20-17 against Morph in Salute. In addition to that, 3 dominations, 20-9 against Melvin in Athena, 20-8 against Morph with 3 suicides in Crimson, and 20-8 against Morph in Salute. But wait, there's more, right?
Oh, there's always more.
We're going Billy Mays on everybody here. So Jedi Luke threatening scores, a lot of these from the land. 15-20 in Ascend X2, 15-20 in Logic, 17-20 in Mindtricks, 17-20 in Mindtricks again, 18-20 in Logic X2, 19-21 in Logic, and against Mark 39-2, threatening scores, 15-20 in Fused, 15-20 in Lurk, 17-20 in Flee, and 15-20 in Mindtricks. So Zero, well established as the top gold pilot with a performance like that. Otherwise, only 2 losses, both of those to Maniac and Audacity, which will be mentioned here shortly. And then, of course, you go up against Diamond. That's a whole different game there. So, brilliant performance by Zero. However, by the ladder rankings, he is not the top gold pilot, but by sheer performance, he's earned that distinction. So. And now we move on to Maniac, who's put in 25 games. He's got a 6-7 record against Gold. A few close games against Silver, Lee and Hyper there, including that overtime match. But against Gold tier, he's got 3 close games: 2015 against Zero in Audacity, 2016 against Zero in Audacity, and 2017 against Bahamut in Mind Tricks. In addition to that, threatening score against Mark 39-2, 15-20 with 3 suicides in Flea. And we move on to Bahamut. Another premier gold pilot, 17 games put in the last 3 weeks. He was not at the LAN. Very sad that he couldn't get out there. Has a 5-1 record against gold. And let's see here. Against bronze, he's got a 20 in -1 score against code in logic. As mentioned, very difficult to hold any pilot to scoreless. The -1 there obviously reflects that the 1 suicide was on code. And 20-0 against code with 1 suicide in UG. Both dominations against bronze. Remember, a domination from gold and higher from bronze pilot has to hold them to 0 or less. Against gold pilots, he's got close games of 2018 against Morph and Wyndham, 2018 against Vaniac and Audacity, and 2018 against Vaniac and Logic. And let's see here, domination match for the Fusion Trophy. I don't know how he talked Vaniac into this. 20-10 against Vaniac and UG. Doesn't seem like something Vaniac would have done without some arm twisting.
UG seems like the response from Vaniac after that match, too.
And against Diamond Pilots, in the last 3 weeks, threatening scores against Mark 39-2, 16-20, and 18-20 in Audacity and Crimson, respectively. Cyrus has unretired during this time period and has put in a single match against Jedi Luke. And has since, I believe, re-retired. Then we move on to Diamond.
We're just on Diamond.
Diamond pilot, Jedi Luke, has put in 113 games. Is 47-2 against gold, and is 3-11 against Diamond. Against bronze pilots, he's picked up a number of dominations. 20-0 against Leto in Ascend X2, 1 suicide. 20-0 against Code in Nysa, less homers, X3. Think about that for a moment. Nysa, less homers, X3.
What?
So we just needed to have a lot more smart missiles, clearly. 20-0, no suicides. That's a pure. 20-0 against Code, 2 suicides in Athena. 20-0 against Code 3 times in Ascend, Logic, and Wrath at X5. All pure dominations, no suicides.
And I also want to point out that those last 4 games were in response to that Tetrafusion game.
Oh, that's how it went.
Those were the Jedi Luke rematches.
So the 2017 game in Tetrafusion was followed by 3 pure suicides and then a final domination with 2 suicides.
Scary.
And then it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 fusion matches where he holds them to below. It holds them to single digits. So, yeah, I'd call that problem dealt with. Against silver pilots here, we have a 20-0 against Hyper with 4 suicides, Logic X4. Against Lady Silver, 2 dominations, 20-5 in Ascend X2 and 22 in Flea. Against Lee, 20-3 in Pillbox X5, 20-0 with 7 suicides in Nysa X2. Against Ernie, 20-3 in Ascend. Against Lothar Bot, 20-1 with 8 suicides in Ascend.
That was an interesting game, and the ensuing discussion after that.
And 20-5 against Lothar Bot with 2 suicides in Mind Tricks. Against B2AF, 20-4 in Fused and 20-4 in Logic. And against Ronckley, 20-5 in Logic and 20-5 in Mega Wrath X5. Why does this exist?
So it's kind of funny because Mega Wrath X5 was the result of me playing him in Godspeed. Apparently, Jedi Luke's never played Godspeed before, which I don't know why. It's a great.
I don't think that's true at all. I think that's all. I think he just doesn't remember it.
Mega Wrath was the revenge match. I'm sitting here like, okay.
And also, I can't believe I'm saying this, a more sensible 20-1 in Wrath X5.
Yay, I got a point. Yay.
And we move on to gold. Jedi Luke with the following dominations. Against Melvin, 20-10 in Logic, 20-8 in Logic as well. Do any more Melvins? No. Against Cyrus, 20-4 in Misa X2. Against Bahamut, 20-7 in Logic X5. Against Dracona, 20-8 in Logic, 20-10 in Logic, 20-9 for Suicide's Wrath X5, 20-5 and 20-6 both in Wrath X5, 20-8 in Junior with Vulcan, a very unusual level, the favorite of the two, 20-10 in Ascend X4, 20-8 in Ascend, and 20-10 in Logic X2 with 4 Suicides, all against Dracona. Against Demos, 20-3 in Logic Missile Cap 2 with 3 Suicides. And against Morph, 20-9 in Crimson, 20-10 in Ascend. And against Zero, 20-10 in Wrath X5. We move on to Diamond, where we have, of note, a close game, 20-16 against Mark 39-2 with 2 Suicides in Audacity. And 2 other wins, 2014 and 2014 against Mark 39-2 in Wrath X5 and Mindtrix X2. That Mindtrix X2, 7 Suicides. And that will complete it for Domination for Jedi Luke. And we move on to current number 1 on the ladder.
I'm counting those, by the way. 113 games, 36 dominations.
110 games played by Mark 39-2. Undefeated against Silver, Gold, and Bronze, and 11-3 against Diamond. Winner of the tournament and number 1 on the ladder. 1 domination, 20-0 against Leto 2 with 2 Suicides in Black Rose in Bronze. Against Silver, Firex 20-4 in Droids, 20-5 with 8 Suicides in Crimson. Against Maestro, 20-5 in Crimson, 25 in Salute 4 Suicides. Against Ernie, 20-5 in Killbox No Missiles, 20-1 in Forte No Missiles, 20-4 in Audacity. Against Lee, 20-2 in Dog Hell, 20-3 in Untitled. Against Firex B2AF, 20-4, 4 Suicides in Athena, 20-4 in Droids, 20-3 in Untitled, 5 Suicides, 20-3 again in Untitled, 20-4 in Wyndham, the Wyndham match, 20-4 in Lurk, 20-4 in 22 in Junebug. Against Lady Silver, 20-2 with 4 Suicides in Flea, 20-0 with 3 Suicides in Skunked, 20-4 in Ascend, 20-5 in Mindtrix. And then finally here, I see Ironically, 20-4 in Ascend, and 20-3 with 3 Suicides in Junebug.
And 20-5 with 4 Suicides and 14 no
I
misses.
still have a long list to go through here, so then we move on to Gold. Against Maniac, 20-9 in Ascend, 20-7 in Salute. That's all Maniacs I see. And against Melvin, 20-10 in Audacity. Against Dracona, 20-8 in Salute, 20-10 in Lurk, 20-10 in Logic, 20-7 in Mindtrix, 20-7 in Salute with 3 Suicides, 20-10 in Lurk again, 20-9 in Ascend, and 20-8 in Untitled. Against Demos, 20-10 in Mindtrix, 20-7 in Ascend. Against Bahamut, 20-9 in Skunked. Against Morph, 20-9 in Wrath, 20-10 in Bluebird Less Vulcan, 20-9 in Salute, and 20-9 in Audacity.
Of note, by the way, we didn't mention this about the tournament. The Bluebird tournament was with the less Vulcan option on.
Certainly made it a little bit more interesting.
Yes.
A move that I was generally thankful for. And against Zero, 20-3 Infused.
Oh, you liked that one.
Oh yes, I did.
You were like
I saw
reveling.
I saw Zero's face just kind of shatter as he tried his best to give the most sincere good game he could to Mark.
Yeah, if you've ever seen like somebody that looks like they just got ran over by a truck, that was Zero's face at the end of that game. To be fair, Zero had a very amazing run at the LAN, but that game just kind of like it broke him. It was funny.
Continuing on, probably my favorite list of the entire domination list so far, which is making for a very boring show, but we need to get caught up on this stuff, people, and then we'll be able to make a much more interesting show next week. Maybe if you guys didn't play so many games, and maybe if Diamond didn't kick so much butt. 20 to 10 against 0 in Fused, 20 to 9 against 0 in Audacity, 20 to 6 against 0 in Black Rose, and that will conclude all of the gold dominations. In addition, the very difficult accomplishment of going up against the other Diamond pilot. Close games, 2015 against Jedi Luke, 5 suicides in Wrath, no X's. That's how it's written. So vanilla Wrath. 20 to 15 against Jedi Luke with 3 suicides in Crimson. 2017 against Jedi Luke, 6 suicides in Mind Tricks. 20 to 16 against Jedi Luke in Ascend. 20 to 17 with 5 suicides in Athena, and 20 to 17 with 6 suicides in Salute. On top of this, very, very rare 20 to 10 domination. 6 suicides in Flea against Diamond Pilot. So I don't think it's very often we see a Diamond domination here. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually going to bust out the really crappy voice. 20 to 10 against Jedi Luke with 6 suicides in Flea. Domination. And with that, I am finished.
Man, that's quite a bit. And just a little bit of commentary on the Diamond versus Diamond over what I've seen the last 2+ years. This series wanes and waxes, and it's really good to see that at times you'll have one pilot dominating and then the other pilot will dominate. Jedi's turn's coming, and it's coming soon. I'll tell you that much. So, very cool. For the match of the week,
I don't want to do this anymore.
That's fine. You're done this week. You're fine. It's good. It's okay. I'm okay. You're okay. I had to give this one, and I actually streamed. I think I streamed the whole match of this. Lotharbot and B2AF had an amazing series at the LAN, and they were playing some awesome games. But their 22-20 game that Lothar won in Logic has to take the cake. Lothar was undefeated against Silver at the LAN, but boy, did B2AF test him with 3 games that went 2 points. So, yeah, that's got to be it. I can't think of a better one, especially from the LAN. Those two played a fantastic match. So,
Frankly?
Yes?
What do you take a cake?
What?
What do you take a cake?
What do I...
You said it takes the cake. What do you take the cake? What do you take the cake to? Do you take it to the bakery to see all the other cakes?
You take it home to eat it. Come on.
Little George Carlin there, folks.
You have a spiel that you do here.
Oh, yeah. Hey, folks, if you really enjoyed me rattling off a bunch of names and recognizing the achievement of all of our community pilots, then, yeah, you should get on my case for not doing the show more often so that this section doesn't stretch out to 90 minutes. Again, it's just a thank you to our most loyal listeners in the community. We do our best to recognize the accomplishments of those. We have big events like Cajun Country Descent Land to go over. So anyway, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, or confessions, feel free to email us at emails@selfdestructsequence.org. Be certain to note whether or not you want us to read your name or handle on the air, or whether or not you wish to just insult us anonymously. Other contact info we can be found on.
We'll insult you back.
This is true. Or for that matter, we may strike first. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us at Twitch at SDS Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at SDS_activated. Or you can find all this information on selfdestructsequence.org. Do we still have Self-Destruct Sequence?
I know that the Squarespace did not renew, so
how much time do we have left on that email? Do know that we are going to be changing emails there soon.
Yeah, we'll have to look at that. I think the selfdestructsequence.org email, that goes to Gmail, so that's not going to change. But for now, I'm not sure what's going to happen with the website. It is currently up.
So,
but I don't know.
But either way, yeah, just feel free to reach out to us in any one of those directions or venues. I would discourage getting in touch with me directly because I have a tendency to misplace things if we actually have some kind of electronic medium by which we can be held accountable. things will work a little bit better for all of us that way. But yeah, that's how you get in touch with us, Ron.
Yeah, we're coming at you every Sunday if we can, 2:30 p.m. Pacific. That's 5:30 p.m. Eastern. We were a little late today, but that's fine. And if you or someone you love wants to get back into the game of
Or
Descent,
someone you hate.
or someone you hate, yeah, especially someone you hate, you can check out descentchampions.org/new_player.php, where you can find out all the information that you or someone you love or someone you hate needs to get back into the modern game of Descent. So, once again, check out Facebook and Twitter for our next stream. Thank you all for joining. I am Ron Clee.
And I am a dumpster fire.
And for the dumpster fire, we'll see you next time.